Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing, man? Antonelli here.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How we doing? Matt Antonelli here, answering your questions today. Today's question is on mentors in the MLB. Did I have any mentors when I got called up and made my debut? You hear players, veteran players, taking the younger players kind of under their wing and mentoring them. And so we're going to talk a little bit about if that happened to me, and if it did, who was my mentor or mentor. So when I got called up, I actually didn't end up having anyone in particular kind of do that, take me under their wing, show me the ropes, all that stuff. Most of the players that I kind of hung out with when I got called up were all of my buddies that I'd played in the minors with. Now, our team was interesting because that year there were a lot of guys getting called up. I don't know how many guys made their debut that year, but it felt like probably 10 to 15 guys at some point during that year made their major league debut. So there was a lot of young guys that were getting called up. And when I was playing in 2008 for the Padres, I mean, there was a lot of that team were really, really young players. So there weren't a ton of older guys that were veterans that could kind of be your mentor. And there were so many young guys, it just was like, they were probably, the older guys were probably like, I can't really help all these guys. There's too many of them. And we had some great older players. So we had like Trevor Hoffman, who was like the nicest guy ever. And I talked to Trevor a couple times about different things. But I wouldn't say that he was, I probably wouldn't call him my mentor, but he was definitely great with the young players. Older guys, who else was there? There was Brian Giles, who was an older player. There was Heath Bell, was somewhat of an older player. There was, I guess those were Jake Peavy, although he wasn't really an older player. He'd played for a while and was a big name player, but he wasn't super old when I made my debut. But those were kind of the veterans, I guess, of the team, and they were all really, really great guys. My mentor, I would say, and this started in the minor leagues and then kind of continued in the major leagues, but he wasn't actually on our team, was a player named Sean Wooten. I've talked to you guys about him, I think, in another video or two. Sean ended up having a really nice major league career, ended up winning a World Series with the Angels back when they beat the Giants. He was a DH for that team. Now he's been coaching in Major League Baseball for a while now, since he stopped playing. And Sean was actually my teammate. We became teammates quickly in 2007 in Double-A, and that's when I had the best year of my life. So I'll tell you the quick story about how we became friends, and then how he became my mentor. Because I think it's really, really important to have somebody like this during your career. So we were teammates in 2007 for a very, very short amount of time. I got called up to Double-A. He was on the Double-A team. He was a veteran catcher. He was probably like mid-30s at that point, and I was 22. I think 21, 22 at that point. So I was a really young player, and he actually ended up, I think he got released or something like that. So I got to know him really quickly, but he had a chance to see me play, and that was when, when I got called up to Double-A, I think I hit like 7 home runs really, really quickly. Ended up hitting 21 that year, so that was the best year I ever had. He kind of saw that I was a pretty good hitter, and obviously at that point I was a pretty high prospect for the Padres, just been drafted in the first round a year before that. So he gets traded off. The next year I get sent to AAA, and I'm really struggling. Like, I'm having the worst year of my life. If you go back and look at my numbers, I was hitting like 150 at one point in the season, and we're playing against New Orleans, I think it was, or New Orleans, however you say it, and Sean is now on that AAA team. So he's in AAA now with them. He's trying to get back up to the big leagues again. And so we're playing against him, and I can't hit to save my life, and I get up in the game, and I don't do anything. And after the game, he comes over to our clubhouse, because he knew a lot of our guys. He'd been with the Padres before. And he grabs me and says, like, can we talk for a minute? And he says, dude, what the hell's wrong with your, like, what are you doing? And I said, I don't know. I can't hit. I like, something's wrong with my swing. I can't figure it out. And he was like, yeah, he's like, your swing's a mess. Like, you have to work on your swing. There's a couple things that, like, you really need to work on. But we didn't end up having a lot of time to be able to talk about it. So anyways, they leave. And probably 2 weeks later, I'm in Portland, and all of a sudden he walks into our clubhouse. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing here? He's like, I just got traded to the Padres. And I was like, no shit, sorry, no kidding. And so he's on our team again. And so we end up being pretty good friends. We end up rooming together on the road. And he becomes like my mentor slash hitting coach. And he like made it his mission to help me figure out how to hit again, because I'd totally forgotten. I literally, at this point, it's late in the season and I'm still hitting like under 200. And Sean and I would like, we'd be in like the hotel room and we'd be like watching video on all these hitters, and he was explaining to me all about like hitting mechanics, and no one had really done that before. People had given me like real simple stuff when I was struggling, like, oh, stand up taller, oh, put your hands up higher and put them down higher and take a bigger stride, and like that kind of stuff. But they weren't really telling me, they weren't explaining to me really how the swing works, and Sean was one of the first to do that. And so he really helped me. Literally, I hit over 300 the last, I think, month of the season after we kind of changed my swing, him and I ended up getting called up to the major leagues. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have got called up to the major. Maybe I would have that year, but I doubt it. I mean, I was literally hitting under 200. And for me to go from what I was doing to hitting over 300 that last month or so, month and a half of the season, I know I wouldn't have been able to do it on my own. So he kind of became my mentor and helped me throughout the rest of my career, really. And there would be times where I'd get messed up again and couldn't figure out how to hit, and I'd have to go see him, or I'd send him my video and he'd help kind of put my swing back together again. And in 2010, he really helped me that off season, put me in the best spot possible for hitting. I remember, like, I was about to leave for spring training. I don't know if I told you this, guys, before, and I sent him a video right before I left. And he said, he texted me after he got it, and he's like, you're going to rake this year. Like, you're going to crush balls. And I was like, all right. And I went to spring training, had the best spring training of my life. I think I led the team in hitting. I hit really well. And that's when I ended up breaking my hand right before the season started. And I ended up spending that season on the major league roster for a bunch of weird reasons, but I was injured, so I didn't play it all that year. But again, like, he was a great hitting coach, great mentor, someone that played in the big leagues for a long time, had a lot of experience, knew a ton about hitting. And, I think it's super important to have somebody like that. Not everybody has that. I wish I had that earlier. I would have learned more about the swing, and probably wouldn't have had so many, such a roller coaster career. But he was, really valuable and ended up being my mentor. And there's a lot of guys at the major league level that end up, whether it's stories like that or they get called up and somebody kind of grabs them and kind of helps them out. I think it's super important to find someone like that. Again, not only in baseball, but anything. If you can find a mentor, someone that's been there and done that, has experience and has knowledge that can help you out, go find that person. Don't be afraid to reach out to people. You hear all the time about people finding mentors that really, really help them. So that was my mentor at the major league level. Hopefully that helps you guys out. Thank you for the question. Subscribe to the channel if you're not done so already. Give us a thumbs up. Share the video with all your friends. All that good stuff. Check out the description box below. We've got a bunch of stuff going on down there. Got a deal going on with Plate Crate. We've got a link to our Patreon page. You can help support the channel. If you guys want these hats, I keep getting questions about them. Just go to our website, AntonelliBaseball.com. You can find her on there. I'm all out of black hats for this right now. If you're watching this video right when I put it out, I got to get some more. But I've got a couple more of these left, so definitely scoop those up there. And that's all I got. Thanks, guys, for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you later.